Welcome to the Jon and Heidi Show podcast.
Jon and Heidi.
Here's Jon and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Friday, the 21st day of August. It is National Brazilian Blowout Day. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds painful. I have no idea. National Spumani Day. Isn't that like a champagne? So toast to all the Spumani celebrators. And it's National Senior Citizens Day.
Okay.
So that's really cool. And this is a really great guest. My guest for today, Jon Erwin. You might know him from being one of the Erwin brothers from a bunch of great movies like Mom's Night Out, Woodlawn, I Can Only Imagine, I Still Believe. They've got a new project they're working on called Beyond Valor. When I say project, it's a book. It's not a movie, at least not yet. I'm going to see if I can talk him into making it into a movie. You think I can?
I'm sure it probably will be.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. But the book is out now. We're going to chat about Beyond Valor, true story about their grandfather. That's coming up in a bit.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. According to a new survey, it's not uncommon for Americans to wear underwear for several days without changing them. What? Why?
Oh.
What is the point, man? I mean, of all the things that you're going to change, that's the one that's kind of the most important. That and socks.
I mean, I guess it depends on which piece of underwear they're talking about. Like bras?
Okay, well, is that the same as underwear, though?
That is an undergarment.
Okay, well, that's a different thing in my mind. So, I don't know. Either way, not a fan of that. Thanks for listening to Surveys and Studies and Such, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. If you have a credit card, our friends at BetterCreditCards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com. This is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. According to the sheriff's office, a Florida man admittedly had a little too much to drink, and he was caught on dash camera video riding a lawnmower down a highway. Deputies say Paul Burke of Fort McCoy was caught riding a lawnmower in the middle of Highway 316. Video provided by the department shows him slurring his words and admitting that, yeah, I've been drinking, although that never quantified exactly how much he had to drink. He said a couple, but then when they asked him again later, he goes, I'm not going to lie to you. And he says, I maybe had a little too much to drink tonight.
Maybe.
He said he had just left his home and was just driving back home. So I'm not really sure. I left home, but I'm going home. Where did you go between home and home?
Right.
I think that may be where all the drinking happened. Who knows? But that is what happens, apparently, when your brain is on drugs. Now, Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Comedic actor and director Seth Rogen says that he and his directing partner Evan Goldberg were so traumatized by the hacking scandal around their release of the 2014 movie The Interview, remember that one? Where they supposedly went to like North Korea or whatever, that they moved to directing television instead of movies because of that. So that's why they haven't done another big movie since then. I don't know how well that movie did, so that might be another reason. SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, made $900,000 over the weekend in Canadian theaters, and it'll come to video on demand and CBS All Access early next year. Unhinged, by the way, generated $582,000, also mostly in Canadian theaters. And Matthew McConaughey is in the news. He announced the release date for his first memoir. It's called Green Lights, October the 20th. The book will be showcasing his musings on life. It's both an advice book and a chronicle of the superstar's life experiences he shares on social media. This is my sights and scenes My nices and means, successes and failures, stories, people, places, poems, prayers, prescribes a whole lot of bumper stickers. So I don't know what that means. My nices and means is what hung me up, because I thought maybe I was reading it wrong, but I think I got that right.
No, I think it's trying to rhyme.
I think so too, but maybe I read it wrong. Thanks for listening to the Jon and Heidi Show on a Friday.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Does your child need help getting into a homework state of mind? Pediatrician Ken Holler says something as simple as a specific T-shirt could do the trick. He's an assistant professor of pediatrics at St. Louis University School of Medicine. He says parents should invest in what he calls homework shirts for their children. He says there's a lot of examples in life where you dress a certain way to tackle a certain task. You frequently dress formally to go to a wedding. Athletes wear uniforms to play their sport. Curious to see if wearing something special puts you in the mood to study, he tested an ordinary gray shirt, and he says when he was done with homework, he took it off and felt a sense of relief that he had accomplished something because he got to take that shirt off. He says having just one homework shirt your child would wear while doing homework during the school year. So, not a bad idea. It's a lot of folks making fun of this dude online right now.
I was going to say.
But here's the thing, especially if people are going to be doing more school from home kind of stuff, just like people who are working from home, it gets really easy to just kind of fall into the groove of going to work in your pajamas. Trust me, I know I've done it before. It was very embarrassing around the office. But what I'm telling you is, if you do say, you know what, even if I'm going to be working from home, even if I'm going to be schooling from home, if I get up and I dress a certain way, like I'm going to school, like I'm going to work, subconsciously it does do something. It really does. Heidi's looking at me like I'm nuts.
Okay. Yeah, because I see how you dress every day to go to work.
But I'm saying,
and I'm just saying,
you couldn't get away with wearing this everywhere. Thank goodness we don't have a webcam. Americans are waiting longer than previous generations before purchasing their first home. So where some people were buying their first home when they were younger, a lot of generational things have happened where younger generations are waiting. They're like, no rush. I'll stay here in mom and dad's basement, or I'll rent an apartment, or I'll stay with a friend, whatever. So they're just taking their time a little bit. This is really kind of a cool story. The Knoxville Zoo, which sounded funny coming out of me, does an amazing... There's a parrot there that does amazing sound effects and impressions.
You were playing a little bit of this earlier. It's actually extremely impressive.
I was going to try to play it on the radio, but I was afraid that maybe the parrot would say something that we shouldn't have on the radio, and I already have that with you, so I don't need to go with the parrot too. But I do have a link to it in the show notes if you'd like to listen to what this parrot sounds like. It's just pretty darn cute. And I think we got room for one more story, and it'll be this one. Pepperoni, which happens to be the favorite pizza topping for many people, is getting more expensive to obtain amid production snags and meat plant shortages and high demands for pizza. So small pizza shops across the United States are reporting higher prices and tight supply for their usual pepperoni orders. So if you want a pepperoni pizza, they're saying maybe don't wait to order that, because who knows? Don't know how long you'll be able to get that. Interesting stuff. That is today's Scoop of the Day on the Jon and Heidi Show. Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. Thanks for listening to the Jon and Heidi Show. We have one of the Erwin brothers joining us today, Jon Erwin, filmmaker, and they've got movies like Mom's Night Out. They've got I Still Believe, I Can Only Imagine, Woodlawn, so many great movies. But today we're going to talk about a book, and I hope someday maybe this book will also become a movie.
Well, maybe. We'll see. That's always been the goal. But yeah, I think my brother and I just love to tell stories that entertain, but also that inspire and uplift and draw people to what we believe is true. And we just have the audacity and to think that the right story really can change your life. So this one comes to you in a book form. My grandfather's Medal of Honor story has always been the story that's inspired all of the others. In the book Beyond Valor, finally able to tell, our granddad's World War II story and his receiving the Congressional Medal of Honor, which is our nation's highest military award. So it's a very gratifying moment, 15 years in the making.
It's called Beyond Valor, a World War II story of extraordinary heroism, sacrificial love, and a race against time. It's based on a true story. What are we going to learn about?
It wasn't until my grandfather's funeral. You have those moments of epiphanies, like who was my granddad? The level of military honor that was bestowed on him was so extreme, and it was just such a display of honoring one of our nation's heroes that I felt like, oh man, I have missed the boat. Why did I not have more conversations with him? I knew him well. He had an incredible memory. He would talk a lot about the war, but I was a teenager at the time. I was 19 years old, and I just didn't really care as I should about history and about his stories, and that was an instant wave of curiosity and also guilt, and led me to go around the country to find his story and to talk to his crew members and his brothers and my grandmother. And what I found was this incredible true story of heroism and love, really, and a race against time. Come to find out, his Medal of Honor is the fastest presentation that we know of in U.S. history, and he was a radio operator on board a B-29 Super Fortress, beautiful airplane that ended the war on Japan, really. April 12, 1945, he was flying on a raid to Koreama, Japan. One of his jobs was to drop a phosphorus flare, and they'll burn up to 2,000 degrees. It'll burn through steel. They were the lead plane, and that was to signal all the other planes into formation. He dropped this flare. They hit an air pocket, shot back up into the plane, exploded into his face, and spewed phosphorus all over him and all over the inside of the aircraft, and filled the plane with toxic smoke, and they went into a dive. And it was really just a question of whether they were going to crash into the ocean or explode the planes around them. And he was very devout, and he prayed a simple prayer, God help me, felt the presence with him on the plane. And he went for the bomb and picked it up and clutched it like a football. It was really an act of almost superhuman strength, and started marching it to the front of the plane, threw it out the co-pilot's window, and they pulled up at 300 feet, just seconds from disaster. There was a colonel on board the raid named Strauss, and he was so moved by what he saw that he ordered the plane to be turned around, which you never did. And he said, I want to try to save this man's life. And that began this race against time. They wrote the citation for the Medal of Honor that night, gave it to General Curtis LeMay the next morning. He was so moved by it, he got it to Washington. All this happened the day FDR died, and so it was Truman's first day in office. Truman had said, I'd rather have the Medal of Honor than be President of the United States. He was so moved by this story that he got it through Congress in just one day. Never happened before that way. LeMay said, I want to pin a Medal of Honor on this kid's neck, because they all thought he was going to die. There was only one Medal of Honor in the Pacific. It was in a display case in Pearl Harbor. They flew a secret mission to Pearl Harbor. They got him to the general's office. They couldn't find the key. They smashed the display case. They stole the medal. They flew it back to Guam and laid it on his chest just a week after the incident happened. My favorite part is my grandmother. They'd only been married for about 3 months. He was really good looking when he left, and of course horribly burned when he got back, and he had endured many surgeries and gotten down to about 85 pounds. He was terrified of what would happen, because a lot of the other wives of men in the burn wards would abandon them. They didn't know how to deal with it. She found the only unripped portion of his cheek and said, welcome home, I love you, and it gave him the will to live. And they had 5 kids all after the war.
And that little kiss on your grandfather's cheek made it possible for us to talk with you today.
I remember talking to Percy Youngkin, who was the only eyewitness to the event. He was up in the bubble of the airplane. He saw it, and he said, I never got a chance to properly thank your grandfather. He didn't save 11 people. He saved generations of people.
Absolutely.
And it was just very moving. And when I was probably 7 years old, he let me hold his Medal of Honor. No idea what I was holding. And he said over my shoulder, freedom isn't free. The life we live, the freedoms that we enjoy, the greatness of our country, despite all of its problems, come at a cost. A price has been paid, and we should honor those that have paid that price. I'm telling my grandfather's story, but I hope that people will take the time to listen and learn from that greatest generation of what was done on our behalf. We owe them a great debt.
Absolutely. The book is out right now, Beyond Valor, a World War II story of extraordinary heroism, sacrificial love, and a race against time. And I'm looking forward to it being a movie someday, too. Wink, wink.
I hope so.
Our guest today is Jon Erwin, one of the Erwin brothers. I'm going to throw a link to the book in the show notes for today at JonandHeidiShow.com.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Lobsters communicate with their bladders. Yeah, they have bladders on either side of their head, so they communicate by urinating at each other.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
I know some men that do that.
They don't either. If they want another lobster to know that they're happy or sad or angry or interested in a relationship, they say it with wee-wee. So, interesting, lobsters. You're kind of disgusting. I didn't know you did that, but now we know, because that was today's fun fact. If you have a credit card, our friends at BetterCreditCards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate, and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com. Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline Germany. A man in Germany was arrested after he allegedly punched his older brother for eating 3 Big Macs and not saving one for him.
Okay.
I'm glad to know that there are people that do dumb things all over the place.
Could you imagine eating 3 Big Macs?
You know what? And I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty decent.
Yeah,
eater.
you've got a good
I got a good appetite. I remember going to a different restaurant where they sell Whoppers. I think you probably know which one. And they had like this 2 for $5, whatever deal. And I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. I'll get 2 of those. And when I was done, I was so stuffed with 2. Can you imagine eating a third one?
Well, and the
Big Mac is bigger.
Way bigger.
Yeah, I'm just saying that would be. So he ate 3 Big Macs and didn't save him one. His brother hit him, and his brother got arrested for that. So bad idea.
Wow.
That is a news headline from somewhere in this world.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A 6-year-old girl in England nearly choked on a chicken nugget that turned out to not be a chicken nugget. It was a blue surgical face mask that was shaped like a nugget and coated like a nugget. So she took a bite of this thing, was trying to eat this chicken nugget from McDonald's. Yeah.
Gross.
And her mother, 32-year-old Laura Arbor, said she bought these from McDonald's, Aldershot, Hampshire branch. Managed to get the chicken nugget out of her daughter's mouth, said it was a mask. It was absolutely baked into it. McDonald's is investigating to figure out what is going on. Someone from the BBC said if I had to put my finger... she said I had to put my finger in her mouth to make her sick to get this all out, to get everything out of there.
Oh my gosh, she could have died.
The mother of 4 said that they went straight back to the restaurant to speak to the manager, who told her the nugget was not cooked on their premises, and she said, yes, it was. She and her daughter have been put off by McDonald's for life, they say. So, there you go.
Yeah, I would say so.
What a weird story. I've got a link to the story in the show notes for today, and if everything they're alleging is true, that is very bizarre. But it's a good idea to
And that's terrifying.
Yeah, maybe good idea to check before you swallow stuff. Weird story. It's why it is today's Weird News. Brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Jon and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. And I don't really know who the moment of duh belongs to here. Because, I don't know, maybe this shouldn't be a moment of duh. Maybe it should have been Weird News. But it had to go somewhere, and I thought this might be it. Police caught a 40-year-old man who was accused of robbing patients in a Chinese hospital. They caught him as he was trying to escape in a stolen doctor's outfit.
Okay.
The suspect was stopped by police at the gate of the hospital wearing a white lab coat. He was found in possession of 4 phones and a large sum of cash. He was going from room to room dressed as a doctor,
And stealing their stuff.
taking all of their belongings if they were napping and stuff. So he's 40 years old. He got caught doing that. That is not a smart thing to do.
No, it's not.
And luckily he was caught. So again, I think the moment of Doug goes to him for doing that. But again, online folks are not being nice to this dude. Because if you're going to...
What an idiot.
Yeah, if you're going to do something bad to people, why would you do it to people who are like in a hospital? They've already had a pretty bad run.
Easy targets.
I suppose. Who's
going to fight back?
He is weak. That's what that means. This is today's moment of duh. Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Fake news or Florida. Miami man caught sleeping naked on a beach. He passed out sometime late Saturday night, found by a group of churchgoers having an early morning ocean baptism service. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
And you are incorrect again.
Oh my gosh.
You're on kind of a string of
I'm on
bad
a
luck
losing
here.
streak.
Yes, and I got to tell you, I'm so proud to tell you, that was mine.
Was it really?
I came up with a good one today.
That was a good one.
But
I could see that happening.
I could see it happening too.
Uh-huh.
Well, I wouldn't want to see it happening. That would not be good, but I could see something like that. So now if you read a story somewhere that really happened, I guess I'm in trouble. This has been Fake News or Florida on the Jon and Heidi Show.
Jon and Heidi.
This portion of the Jon and Heidi Show is brought to you by the Jon and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the Jon and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to JonandHeidiShow.com. Again, JonandHeidiShow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
Jon and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Take a listen to this. Walking to the fridge every time you want a snack is something most people take for granted. Well, a new community-led program in the Nashville area is working to make food security a reality for everyone. When Emily Lawler moved from rural New York to Nashville, she couldn't ignore the economic disparities of those living in the city. The 19-year-old began brainstorming ways that she could help her new neighbors, and the Community Fridge program was born. Started about a month ago, and it's simple. The fridges that she has now up to 2. She's got 2. They're in public spaces, typically outside of businesses, and they're open to all in need. So if you need food, no problem. You can help yourself. Want to donate food? Great. Put it in the fridge. The idea is centered around the community helping its neighbors in their time of need. They think that it takes right around 50 people to maintain one fridge. So that in that particular situation. Now, I got to tell you, this was shared with me a while back. I read this story maybe a month ago. I didn't share it on the radio until just now, but when I read it about a month ago, I shared it on my own Facebook page, my personal page. And if you want to go on there, you can scroll back and find it, facebook.com/BigJohnSmall. But anyway, when I posted it, I said, I think this would be kind of a neat thing. I had a lot of people that thought it was cool, but I had a lot of negative people, too, that said all it would take is one person doing something disgusting, putting in something that's not...
Something that's tainted,
Yeah.
something that's been messed with.
And I had one friend in
Somebody
particular...
opening up and licking ice cream or spitting in milk or something.
One friend in particular said, I'd give it a week before somebody would put an apple juice bottle in there full of pee.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I never even thought of that because I wouldn't do that. So I hope they have a way.
Most people wouldn't do that, but there are people who will. I mean, look at how many people have been arrested lately for spitting on produce and
But
I mean, if there was an open fridge where they could just do whatever they wanted.
I don't know what Emily Lawler in the Nashville area is doing to make sure this is safe. Hopefully something. But
Right.
I think it's a neat idea. I've got a link to all of the information in the show notes for today at JonandHeidiShow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. We will. Thanks for listening to The Jon and Heidi Show.